You're probably trying to figure out whether GPT 5.5 or Grok 4.3 beta is actually worth your money. And you might even be wondering if it's smarter to just stick with what you've got. Trust me, I went down this exact rabbit hole, spent weeks testing both on real work, and I found something surprising. One of these costs 10 times more to access than the other. And it's not the one that wins every category. There's no single best model here. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one fits your workflow. So in this video, I'll share my real, no-hype thoughts on both models and help you find your perfect match, so your money is well spent. We'll cover architecture, benchmarks, pricing, multimodality, safety, and the actual jobs each one does best. First up, let's start where every model lives or dies, the foundation it's built on. Because the difference between how these two are designed, it's bigger than you'd think, and it explains everything that comes after. Architecture and training. Here's the thing. Most reviewers won't tell you up front. These two models are built on completely different philosophies. And once you see it, everything else about them suddenly makes sense. GPT 5.5, codenamed SPUD inside OpenAI, is what they're calling a single unified transformer. Translation? It handles text, images, audio, and even video all inside one network. No bolt-ons, no separate modules. Drop in a photo, an MP3, or a video clip, and it processes them end-to-end like one continuous thought. OpenAI built this thing hand-in-hand with NVIDIA's next-gen GB200 and GB300 chips, which is why, and this part genuinely impressed me, it runs as fast as GPT 5.4, despite being significantly larger. They've also leaned hard into chain-of-thought reasoning, meaning the model literally thinks internally before it responds. Trained through reinforcement learning. The exact parameter count? Officially unspecified. OpenAI is keeping that one close to the chest. What we do know is that it's been trained on a massive blend of public web data, licensed sources, and partner-provided content, with heavy filtering for quality, then fine-tuned with their standard RLHF approach, plus newer safety guardrails baked in from the ground up. But wait until you see what xAI did differently. Because Grok 4.3 takes the complete opposite approach. Instead of one giant brain, Grok runs a multi-agent architecture. 16 parallel submodels, each one a specialized expert, all working on your query simultaneously, and then merging their answers into a final output. That's a big jump from Grok 4.3, which only ran 4 agents. The core model itself sits at around 0.5 trillion parameters, roughly the size of GPT 3.5, so noticeably smaller than GPT 5.5. But Musk is betting that running 16 experts beats running one bigger model. There's also a 1 trillion parameter version reportedly in the pipeline. But for right now, 0.5T is what you're working with. And here's the spec that genuinely matters in 2026. Grok holds a 2 million token context window. That's double GPT 5.5 max, and it's the largest of any closed Western AI model on the market. We're talking the ability to dump entire codebases, full novels, or hours of meeting transcripts into a single prompt without breaking a sweat. One more piece worth flagging. Grok was trained on web data plus live X data through December 2025. That X integration is its secret weapon, because it means Grok can pull fresh social media data in real time. OpenAI models, they don't have that live access at all. And neither model has true long-term memory across sessions yet. Both rely entirely on their context window. So don't expect either one to remember your name from yesterday's chat. Drop a comment below if you'd take the bigger context window over smarter reasoning. I'm genuinely curious which way most of you lean. Performance and benchmarks. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where the marketing meets the actual results. And the gap between these two starts to widen in ways that surprise me. OpenAI is reporting state-of-the-art numbers across the board for GPT 5.5 on Terminal Bench 2.0, a benchmark that throws complex command line tasks at the model. GPT 5.5 hit 82.7% accuracy. That beats every predecessor and just about every competitor on the market. On SWE Bench Pro, which simulates real-world coding work, it landed at 58.6%, edging out GPT 5.4. On GDP Val, which tests agentic knowledge work, it cleared 84.9%. But here's the stat that should really catch your attention. On long context reasoning tasks running 512K to 1M tokens, GPT 5.5 jumped from 36.6% to 74% accuracy, compared to earlier models. That's not an incremental improvement. That's the difference between unusable and genuinely production-ready for long document work. Now here's where Grok's story gets a little frustrating for reviewers like me. XAI hasn't released any official benchmarks for 4.3 yet. So all we have to go on is what its predecessor, Grok 4.20, was doing. And here's where Grok actually shines. Grok 4.20 hit a 78% non-hallucination rate on factual QA tests, which was the highest of any model tested at the time. That's huge. Grok is genuinely truth-oriented in a way that most models simply aren't. But, and this is the catch, its coding performance lagged significantly. The same evaluation gave Grok 4.20 a score of 48 on a general intelligence index, while GPT was sitting at 57. The gap on code is real, and it shows up most clearly when you actually ask either model to write production software. So, here's how I'd frame it after weeks of testing. GPT 5.5 is the enterprise coding and analysis machine. Grok 4.3 is optimized for what I'd call Internet of Things queries. Anything where freshness, real-time facts, and live data matter more than deep reasoning. Two completely different jobs. Two completely different tools. On hallucinations specifically, OpenAI is reporting that GPT 5.5 produces 23% fewer wrong claims than GPT 5.4 on flagged user queries, and the overall error rate dropped further on top of that. Grok hasn't published 4.3 numbers yet, but given the 4.20 lineage, expectations are high. There's even a rumor that Grok leverages Twitter's community notes for crowdsourced fact-checking, though that one's still unverified. Latency, throughput, and memory. Speed matters, and so does context. And these two handle them in completely different ways. GPT 5.5, thanks to that NVIDIA hardware co-design, matches GPT 5.4's latency despite being a bigger model, which honestly shouldn't be possible, but here we are. There's even a fast mode that runs 1.5 times faster for 2.5 times the cost. And GPT 5.5 Pro uses parallel compute to handle the toughest tasks with surprisingly low latency. Grok 4.3, on the other hand, has to coordinate 16 agents running in parallel and then merge their outputs. That's inherently more overhead. Community feedback on actual response speed has been mixed. Some users say it feels snappy. Others report noticeable delays on complex prompts. Doing a clean speed comparison is tough, because the use cases each model excels at are so different. For memory, here's the bottom line. Neither model has persistent multi-session memory. Both rely 100% on the context window. GPT 5.5 maxes out at 1 million tokens. Grok 4.3 doubles that at 2 million. So, GPT 5.5 can already swallow entire long documents or large codebases in one shot. But Grok pushes that even further. Just don't expect either one to remember your preferences from a previous conversation, because that's still a feature neither has cracked yet. Multimodality and APIs. This next part is where things get really interesting, because the multimodality story between these two isn't just a spec sheet difference. It's a philosophical one. GPT 5.5 is what OpenAI calls truly omnimodal. Text, images, audio, video, all natively inside one network. Drop a photo into the chat, paste an MP3, feed it video, and it all gets processed end-to-end. OpenAI also wraps this with proper APIs. Vision for image generation and analysis, text-to-speech, streaming speech to text, even video generation. For developers, GPT 5.5 supports function calling, web browsing, code execution, the whole tooling suite. And there's a new priority option for latency-sensitive workloads. Grok 4.3 takes a different approach to multimodality, but honestly, it's quite clever. And one feature in particular genuinely surprised me. It inherited Grok's image understanding from earlier versions, and now adds video input. Early testers have confirmed it can watch short clips and answer questions about them, which is a first for XAI. But here's the feature that caught me off guard. Grok 4.3 can natively generate slides and PDFs inside the chat. You can literally ask it to make a presentation deck, and it'll spit one out. XAI also rolled out a new speech-to-text API and upgraded their text-to-speech, using the same voice technology that ships in Tesla cars. They even launched XChat, an encrypted messaging app with Grok built directly into it. On the API side, Grok offers chat and expert agent endpoints with built-in tools. Web search, X-search, code execution, file uploads, and remote tools through their MCP framework. The developer ecosystem around Grok is younger and rougher around the edges, no doubt, but it's catching up fast. The standout feature, though? That live X search. It gives Grok real-time access to Twitter, and OpenAI just doesn't have an equivalent. If you're a creator working in social media or news commentary, that one feature alone might be the deciding factor for you. Safety and limitations. Safety is one of those topics that gets glossed over in most comparison videos, but it shouldn't be. And here's where the gap between these two companies is genuinely striking. OpenAI ran GPT 5.5 through what they're calling their most extensive safety testing to date. The system card details targeted red teaming on cybersecurity and bioweapon-related topics, plus the usual filters for violence, self-harm, and disallowed content. Their built-in safeguards block things like sexual content involving minors more reliably than any prior model. And OpenAI is publicly confident that GPT 5.5 doesn't go off rails under standard adversarial testing. Grok's safety story is murkier, and there's a serious incident worth flagging. XAI hasn't published an official safety sheet or system card for Grok 4.3. No big press release, no external audits. Reports indicate they're relying primarily on basic content filters and user reporting. Then in late 2025, Grok's image editor was found to easily remove clothing, including from images of minors, which forced an emergency patch from XAI. That's the kind of thing that happens when safety layers don't get the same investment as capability layers. This isn't me dunking on Grok. It's just the reality you need to factor into any decision about deploying it in a production environment, especially anywhere user-generated content is involved. Beta software acts like beta software, and Grok's beta designation should be taken seriously. Pricing and developer ecosystem. Now let's talk money, because this is where most of you will actually make the decision, and the pricing structures here are surprisingly different. GPT 5.5 is unapologetically premium. $5 per million input tokens, $30 per million output tokens on the standard API. GPT 5.5 Pro, which gives you their highest accuracy mode, runs 30 in and 180 out. ChatGPT Plus subscribers at $20 a month get GPT 5.5 thinking mode, and Pro subscribers also get access to Pro mode. OpenAI's counter-argument to the high price is that GPT 5.5 is roughly twice as token efficient as GPT 5.4, meaning it gets to better answers in fewer tokens. There's also a 50% discount for batch processing, so your actual cost per finished task might be lower than the sticker suggests. But it's still expensive at scale. Grok's pricing is more aggressive on tokens. The Grok 4 API runs $3 per million input and 15 per million output. So token for token, Grok crushes GPT 5.5. But here's the catch most people miss. There's a wall around access. The free tier gives you basic Grok. SuperGrok at $30 a month gets you regular Grok 4. But to actually use Grok 4.3 beta, you need SuperGrok Heavy at $300 a month. That's the only tier with 4.3 access right now. So compare that to GPT 5.5, which is on the standard $20 ChatGPT Plus plan. And you can see why most people are sticking with OpenAI for daily use. On developer ecosystem, GPT 5.5 has the mature SDK, the huge community. The integration examples, Grok is still building all of that out. Real-world use cases and recommendations. All right. Based on everything we've covered, here's how I'd actually decide between these two for real-world work. GPT 5.5 is the obvious pick for software engineering, technical research, and high-stakes professional work. If you're building AI assistants that write code, solve math problems, draft formal documents, or run complex data analysis, this is your tool. OpenAI's own internal teams are using it to automate tax form reviews, build production apps, and run analytics workflows. The combination of strong reasoning, mature tooling, and reliable function calling makes it the default for enterprise products, coding tools, and analytics agents. Yes, it's expensive, but for use cases where quality matters more than raw cost, that premium is justified. Grok 4.30 beta is more experimental, but it has a real niche, and if you fit it, nothing else compares. Its sweet spots are real-time knowledge and creative multimedia. Need to know what's trending on X right this second? Tracking a stock movement, a meme cycle, a breaking news story? Grok's Live X integration makes it the only major model that can do that natively. The video understanding and slide generation are genuinely useful for content creators, marketers, and anyone working in social listening or rapid creative output. That 2 million token context window also makes it compelling for feeding it entire scripts, novels, or massive documents and asking deep questions. But, and this is a real but, Grok's coding is meaningfully weaker than GPT 5.4. Until that changes, don't put Grok in your production pipeline. The limited access also means it's mostly a tool for enthusiasts and people who can justify $300 a month. And given the safety concerns we just discussed, I'd be cautious about using Grok in any sensitive domain involving user-generated content. Here's my honest take. Most of you should stick with GPT 5.5 for daily work. It's safer, more supported, more predictable. But Grok's absolutely worth watching. Those live data and creative features are pushing the entire industry forward. And that pressure on OpenAI is going to produce better tools for all of us. So here's the bottom line. GPT 5.5 wins on coding, reasoning, safety, and ecosystem maturity. It's your go-to for high-stakes professional work. Grok 4.3 beta wins on context length, real-time data, and creative multimodal output. It's your tool when freshness and live information matter more than raw reasoning. Two different tools for two different jobs, and both pushing the envelope in ways that are honestly great for everyone using AI right now. If this breakdown helped you make the call, hit like and subscribe to Beam Tool Tap AI. We do deep dive AI tool comparisons like this every single week. Drop a comment below, telling me which one you're trying first and which feature sealed the deal. And if you know someone who's been on the fence about upgrading, send them this video. It'll save them hours of research. That's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next video.